Okay, hey folks, just a quick screencast on our Chat GPT assignment that we have in Moodle. Easier for me to share my screen than it is to type a bunch of instructions. So this is for the project review chapter, and the exercise is part of the exercises you're going to be turning in this week in addition to this sort of ERD diagram is I'm asking you to have a conversation with Chat GPT. Now, I have a link to this GPT. This is a custom GPT. You can Google that if you want to learn more about what custom GPTs are, but essentially you can make your own version of Chat GPT that is um, seeded, for lack of a better word, or you've it already knows about a given domain of knowledge. In this case, I've that GPT knows about all of the requirements for the final project. I've also created these personas, if you want, or employees, Ava, Grant, Sophie, and Claire. You can read more about those guys there. And then your assignment is going to be, so if you click on that link, this is going to take you to it's going to open Chat GPT. Before you start having any conversations, go ahead and log into Chat GPT, because what I'm going to be asking you to do is have a conversation with this GPT, and then you're going to be turning in a link to that conversation as a part of the assignment. Okay. So let's talk about the sort of requirements I've got for the assignment. So again, you can, but based on the employees and their descriptions here, what their job titles and roles are, I'm asking you to ask at least 3 to 4 questions of each employee. And essentially, I want you to have a conversation. And what I'm looking for here is this sort of problem solving thinking, not rather than me sort of spoon feeding you all the requirements. In the real world, you would go out there, and if you were designing a database for a business or a company, you'd have to have conversations with the stakeholders to understand what the requirements are, how they do business. And often these stakeholders are not technical folks, right? It's managers, it's operations folks, people like that. Now, there is a quote unquote IT guy, Grant Dwyer is this the IT guy. And so you can have some conversations with him, although he's technical, but he's not, he knows about the spreadsheets and the personal computers and those things, but he's not necessarily a database administrator or anybody like that. So you can see the requirements here. The other thing I wanted you to note is how to share the link, just to make sure we're clear there. Again, you have to be logged into ChatGPT to be able to have a running conversation. So a couple of things, and you can just see an example here. Hi, my name is Mark Locklear. I will be designing your database for you. I'd like to start by talking with Ava about the operations and overall workflow at Elegant Occasions. So those are the kind of things you're going to do. And then, Ava's going to respond with a few things. You can follow up with more questions, but the idea is here is to have a long running conversation with each of the employees. Keep all of the conversations in a single thread, or sort of in a single conversation. That's good for a couple of reasons. Number one, when you submit the link, again, the link that you're going to share and submit in Moodle, I want to be able to see the full conversation with all the employees. So if you do that, do it in a single conversation. You can just share a single link with me. The other thing that's true with AI, this is not just ChatGPT, any of the AI tools there, is they sort of there's this idea of context, what we call in AI, in the AI world, a context window. And your current conversation is a part of the context window. So what that means is, if I've had a conversation with Ava here, she's given me a response. As I move down the conversation thread and I have a conversation with Dwight or some of the other folks, it's going to remember sort of previous things that it said about given topics, and it's going to also remember other questions that you've asked. So again, that's the idea of this context window. So it's helpful just purely from an information gathering standpoint to keep everything, to have everything in sort of a long running conversation because again, it'll sort of use the context of previous uh, either previous questions you've asked or previous responses that it's given. It will sort of take all that into context. Okay, so and the other thing is you can come back to these. You don't have to do it all in one sitting. If you want to sort of focus on Ava and sort of have a conversation with her first, you can come back to this conversation and then continue it at different times. So you don't have to sit down and do it all in one shot. When it's time to share this, you'll click the little, I'm sorry, down here. Yeah, don't get confused. You'll see the Elegant Occasions GPT up here. You can have multiple conversations if you want, but you're going to only submit a single conversation. But your chats area is where the conversation will show up at. And then you can click there. And if you click share, and then you'll get this, and then you can copy link, and then that link is what you're going to share inside Moodle. So that's all. I just wanted to share that so we're clear. If you have any questions, just let me know. Thanks.